Welcome to Cybersecurity Awareness TV, episode 385, recorded February 12th, 2022. I'm your host, Mac Jackson Jr. I'm a cybersecurity consultant and researcher. If this is the first time you're seeing our program here, I want to tell you that my program and my show, we provide you cyber news, tips, information, and interviews from industry experts regarding cybersecurity awareness, information that you need to have to protect yourself, your family, and your business from the fastest growing crimes of the 21st century, and that is cybercrimes, folks. It is cybercrimes. I would like to thank everybody who's been a part of our show and has followed us over the years, Cybersecurity Awareness TV. If you'd like to find out more information about my company and about this show, go to my website at macjacksonjrjr.com. That's macjacksonjrjr.com, or check out my company at vendersoncybergroup.com. That's vendersoncybergroup.com. Remember, folks, you can see us on social media from Facebook to Twitter on the internet. Remember to like, subscribe, and also, folks, click on that bell, letting YouTube know that you want to be a part of our show. So definitely make sure you click on the bell and subscribe to our show and tell a friend. In this week's episode, folks, of Cybersecurity Awareness TV, we're going to talk about cyber news. And within cyber news, we're going to talk about a scary issue that's going on right now, folks. It has to do with AirTags tracking device. These AirTag tracking device that's put on by Apple, created by Apple Corporation, used to track information on your lost bags, your purses, or your backpacks, now are being used by hackers and scammers, folks. We got something for you that's really interesting you need to know about. In our segment, we're going to cover FBI scams. This is information that the FBI suggests that everyone should know about regarding the latest scams of imposters looking to take your personal information. And of course, as we do every week, a third segment, we talk about what you can do to protect yourself from cybercrimes and identity theft and fraud and fraudsters. But first, folks, in our first segment, cyber news. Apple AirTags, is it the next cyber stalker? Apple AirTags is a device that Apple has created that will allow users to track their devices, such as their keychains, their key tags, maybe their cell phone, their backpack, or any other personal device that they may have. Using their smartphone, they can see where their device is. And that's a great feature for our society, right? Yes. However, as our society creates technology for the good, there are bad guys looking for bad things to do with it, right, folks? So what these bad guys have done are using these type of devices to stalk other people. That's right, folks. The devices that I'm speaking of from Apple Corporation cost about $29. They are the size of a coin, of a quarter, and about twice as thick. They do have a speaker built in and a battery. But the technology will allow a stalker or a scammer, even a criminal, to track the whereabouts of an individual. And they could be anywhere, the actual hacker or stalker could be anywhere within the world and know exactly where the person is. There are definitely some stories here that my research team and our investigative team has found out that we'd like to share with you guys regarding this type of device. Now again, these devices work on Bluetooth technology, folks, within the Apple devices. And what happens is if you carry one of these devices on you, the information on the Bluetooth device hops onto other iPhones around you, and that's how it gets to the network to let the stalker or the scammer or the bad guy, let's say, know where you're at, the person who has registered that particular AirTag chip. Here's a clip I want to share with you from CBS Morning regarding this alarming issue. Check this out.
This morning, we are learning about an alarming trend. People have discovered that strangers are tracking their every move using Apple AirTags. The tags are small Bluetooth devices that are supposed to help you keep track of your belongings, like a purse or a child's backpack. You put the AirTag inside, and then you track it on your phone. Sounds simple, maybe too simple, because some people are using these AirTags to stalk others. Inside Edition's Lisa Guerrero reports on two different women who realized they were being tracked by someone else.
In Atlanta, a body cam obtained by Inside Edition shows cops finding an AirTag in this woman's gas tank.
I randomly got a notification to my phone saying something about how there is an air tag that doesn't belong to me that's been with me.
Even cops weren't sure what to do next.
This is my first instance of running into something like this, so I honestly don't even know how to go about trying to identify.
Unbelievably, it's generally not illegal in Georgia and several other states to put a tracker on another person's car.
How shocked were you to discover that you were being tracked?
It scares me to death. I mean, I really feel helpless.
This Atlanta woman says an AirTag followed her every move, from the mall to her house. How does she know? Because Apple created an iPhone safety feature that notifies users when it detects an unknown device following them.
My feeling is if they've done it to me, I'm probably not the only one.
But where was it? She couldn't find the little AirTag, and she looked everywhere. She figured it had to be in her car.
There's only so much you can do yourself
Exactly.
without getting underneath the car.
So we took her to an auto shop and had a team of trained technicians comb the vehicle. But even they couldn't find it.
A device this small could really fit anywhere.
Absolutely.
I mean, there are 1,000 places this could go.
You can do everything in your power to protect yourself, but the fact that someone with bad intentions can track you and there's nothing you can do about it is really scary and really frustrating.
Apple says it's committed to AirTag's privacy and security. AirTag is designed with a set of proactive features to discourage unwanted tracking. If users ever feel their safety is at risk, they are encouraged to contact local law enforcement, who can work with Apple to provide available information about the unknown AirTag. Inside Edition anchor Deborah Norville joins us right now. Good morning.
Hey.
So what do you do if you get the alert on your phone that there is an AirTag?
Well, here's the first thing you don't do. You don't go home, you don't go to your office, you don't go to a place that you regularly would go to, because then you've just given them all the information they need. The best thing to do is go to the police station and say, first of all, if they're tracking you to the police station, they're not going to come in there. Say, I'm being tracked. There's an indication on my phone that there is an AirTag somewhere in my person or on my car. Can you help me? And as the young woman in Atlanta who has it on her car, she went to the police. The police said, go to Apple. Apple said, go to the police. It's like a cat chasing her tail. She still has this thing somewhere on her car. Short of taking the car apart, they don't know how to find it. And so she has to wait for the battery to go dead, and the battery lasts for a year.
Yes, that she still doesn't know. You know, that is such good advice you said about don't go home, because I think your instinct is, well, let me go home and let me call somebody. So I think that's very important to put that out there. But Deborah, how is it not illegal that somebody could put a tracking device on you and your car and your purse and your coat, and that's okay, that is not illegal?
So, first of all, this is how small this thing is. And it's glued down. You wouldn't necessarily even know that this has been slipped into your coat pocket. Exactly. In fact, one of you has one in your chair.
Seriously?
Seriously.
You know what? I bet you it's me, because I don't usually use a pillow, and I did notice there's a pillow here.
Okay.
Yep.
There it is. Yeah.
Look at that. I'm a detective.
But even Tony...
Look at that. I'm a detective.
Because that one's mine. Even if we hadn't had the pillow there, we could have slipped it right there. You would have never known. You could slip it between the outside door and the car window.
So
and maybe that's what it is on that girl's
magnetic.
car. There's part of it that's magnetic and part of it isn't. Here's the thing.
About why it's illegal. Why is it not illegal?
In the state of Georgia, my home state, thank you very much, it is not illegal to put a tracking device on the exterior of a car, provided you do not stalk or harass the person who is being tracked. Well, rots a ruck on that. What other reason would you be putting it on to just idly follow someone? So understandably, this young woman is very, very afraid.
A cheating husband.
So I gotta be the husband, Gail.
But you can do that. If you got the cheating husband...
did I say that out loud? I'm having a
say that out loud. But that actually would be legal, because that's your vehicle, right? So that would not be against the law.
I would kind of hope that Apple would consider putting a consent notification. So if you do get a note on your phone that says you're being tracked by an unknown device, you would be able to check yes or no if you recognize it or not. And if you don't, then that's an issue.
Well, one reason that Apple has made this alert out there is so that people will know they're being tracked, and they do on your iOS. And the reason we're hearing about this now is the new update, 14.5 and further, will let you know if there's a tracking device. And so people are now finding these things out.
I know, but if you find it out and you can't find it, it really ruins potentially your year as you wait for the battery to go.
But at least you'll be on guard, though.
But what you can do is you can hit a button on the alert, and it will ping the device. And so it'll make a sound. That's how the girl with the AirTag in her gas tank found it. They could hear it pinging down there.
But what if you have an Android phone?
Okay, good question. Yeah. Just last month, Apple released an app called Track Detector that allows anybody with an Android phone to do the same thing. There's a few problems with it. It uses the same Bluetooth technology to find the device. You can then ping it with the sound mechanism, but you have to go onto your phone and actively look for the device. The Apple iOS version of it automatically does it and alerts you. If you've got an Android phone, you have to be proactive.
Open the app and then search.
And then search. And the other thing about the iOS, so the girl with the one on her car that they can't find, she believes that whoever's tracking her is turning the tracking on and off.
Oh, wow.
And so she's tried to ping it and make the sound, and she can't get it to do that.
So say you do find this tag.
Right.
Can you track the person who bought it?
Presumably, yes. And there is a serial number associated with each one of these AirTags. The challenge is getting Apple to track that serial number. I was speaking with the producer about that very question, Nate, and she said, I am aware of no one who's been able to get Apple to do that.
Deborah, this is valuable information. Thank you so much. This could save lives.
Everybody's going to be talking about this.
No doubt. Deborah Noble, thank you so much.
Good to see you in the studio,
Inside
Deborah.
Edition is distributed by CBS Media Ventures, a division of Viacom CBS. It airs weekdays, so you can check your local listings.
Folks, this is very alarming, as you could tell from this report. If you suspect that you have a tracking system on your car or within your car, if you hear that beeping sound, that these devices are now, the Apple are claiming that they are sending a beeping sound if the tracking device has been on for over 24 hours. It will send a beeping sound. If you hear any of that, any noises like that within your car or your home or your personal property, make sure you report it to law enforcement immediately so they can do their research and their investigation and find out where this device has come from. As our investigation continues with our research on these AirTag devices, I want to share with you another story that we've gotten from ABC News on this particular issue. Check this story out, folks.
Tonight, multiple police departments and several women sounding the alarm about an Apple product that can track one's whereabouts without them knowing.
Check your belongings, check your surroundings. It was the scariest moment ever.
The company began selling AirTags last year and now increasing concerns over potential nefarious use. Model Brooks Nader posted on her Instagram Thursday that she believes someone this week put one of the tracking devices into her jacket at a restaurant bar.
Once I was already on my walk home, halfway home, I got the notification that was like, someone's tracking you and has been for a while.
She says her iPhone alerted her to the AirTag device. NBC News has not been able to confirm Nader's account. The concern is that an AirTag, it's this small. My producer Kevin just picked this up from the Apple store. He paired it up to his phone. We're gonna slip this into my jacket pocket and he's gonna track me all the way home. After a subway ride for both of us and miles apart, now Kevin's app can see where me and the AirTag went.
Is the use of a GPS tracking device like this to follow someone, to stalk them, is that illegal?
When the tracking crosses the line to harassment or stalking, and there is no legitimate purpose for it, it becomes harassing and it becomes stalking. That, Vaughn, is illegal.
Police departments in multiple states have reported misuse of AirTags, including for domestic stalking and trying to steal cars. One in New York saying it had 2 reports in a month and urged residents to, quote, immediately contact the police or drive to the nearest police station. Apple says it set up its notification system as precaution to alert people that they may unknowingly be victims of stalking. The company in a statement writing in part, AirTag is designed with a set of proactive features to discourage unwanted tracking, a first in the industry that both inform users if an unknown AirTag might be with them and deter bad actors from using an AirTag for nefarious purposes.
Super anxious, and I'm already an anxious person, so it totally didn't help.
Kimberly Stroop in Arizona says she received one of those alerts in September.
I don't leave my house I stopped any routine I had.
And you changed gyms.
I switched gyms, yeah.
She says she even sold her car. Anxiety still months later. And she says she walked into her local police department to report it.
Law enforcement told you that they wouldn't even take a report?
They didn't take my name. They didn't take my phone number. They didn't take a single thing.
We reached out to the police department, but they said they were unable to find an incident from that day. Our legal analyst says that action should be taken in similar situations.
If someone gets a notification on their phone that they have an AirTag that was unknowingly attached to them, and they go to law enforcement, what obligation does law enforcement have?
When they receive a complaint that there is harassment based on the placement or unknown placement of that type of device, they have the obligation to investigate.
I had no idea that these existed until it happened to me, so I'm kind of just trying to raise awareness and tell all my ladies out there to watch your belongings.
Yeah, incredibly important to get that out there. Vaughn Hilliard joins us now from here in New York, upstairs in 30 Rock at a studio. So Vaughn, I got to tell you, there are reasons to be concerned about this because it's such a small and frankly accessible tracking device.
Yeah, we're talking about this thing right here.
Yeah.
And they say they've worked to build into the system, Apple has, what are essentially warning mechanisms. One, the AirTag is supposed to make a sound within 24 hours of its separation from the device it's paired to help one find a tag that may be unknowingly hidden. Secondly, for folks who have an iPhone, you're supposed to receive an alert on your phone of an AirTag in your presence. But even then, that alert, it takes hours to pop up. Our colleague Kevin and I separated from one another a good 6 hours ago now, and I've yet to receive that notification on my phone that this little tag has been in my possession. And I think it's important to note also, it's very precise. Kevin could see my location right down to my address. Now, if you have an Android, let's say Apple did release an app called Tracker Detect to the Google Play Store last month. You can see it there. But I want to note, though, that a user with an Android has to proactively scan for trackers themselves. And that's why these warnings are going out. This Apple product is still not widely known about yet. Tom?
Yeah, no, glad you're getting the word out tonight. All right, Vaughn, we thank you for that story.
As you can tell, folks, this is definitely disturbing. And Apple Corporation themselves are on top of it. They're coming out with definitely additional features and notifications for these particular devices. Now, folks, it states that this particular tracking device, if it is on your person or in your car, the batteries only last for a year. But that's a year of torture and not knowing what's going on, who's tracking you. Apple's also stated that they have intensified the bell sensor, letting you know that this device is possibly tracking you. And also Android users as well. There is an app that Android users can use, but you have to turn it on. If the application is not on, you won't know. But on the Android devices, there's an app that you can download from the Android store that will let you know if there is a tracking device anywhere around you. So that is a benefit. But again, it's one step. While the bad guys are trying two, we're making one. So we need to make 3 steps to be on top of, surpass them. So folks, like I've always stated, if you suspect any of this kind of stuff, definitely let law enforcement know. But mainly, as consumers, we need to make sure that we let Apple, our state and federal legislators, as well as developers, know that this kind of intrusion on our privacy will not be tolerated. And the public needs to speak up and stand out. The good news, folks, is that you are. We are doing what we've always said on the show, #StayCyberWoke. Folks, we'll be right back after these messages.
You can help limit the damage from identity theft with some quick responses. Placing a fraud alert on your credit reports, filing a complaint with the FTC, and then filing a police report. Taking these steps will give you some important tools to deal with other problems that may come up, like charges you didn't authorize on your credit card, phone, or utility bills, like ATM withdrawals or debit card purchases you didn't approve, like getting a letter from the IRS saying someone has filed for a tax refund in your name. Keep records of your calls and copies of documents. If these problems do come up later, you'll have the necessary tools close at hand. For more tips and tools on dealing with identity theft, visit ftc.gov/ID theft. That's ftc.gov/ID theft.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to Cybersecurity Awareness TV. I'm your host, Mac Jackson Jr. And in this segment, we're talking about cyber scams and scammers. And this is information reported by the FBI. These are warnings from the FBI to be aware of cyber imposters. Now, folks, if you are a veteran listener and viewer of our show, you know we talked about a technique that hackers and scammers use called social engineering, which refers to the psychological manipulation of individuals into completing acts or exposing secret information through deception, as in cyber information and computer information, folks. While our investigation has shown that these scammers are looking for ways to get your information, they're being brazen enough to use social engineering techniques, meaning they will call you on the phone as an imposter pretending to be from somewhere or being somebody that they're not. They will use this information they can collect from you. Could be as simple as wanting to verify your address. They may have part of your address. They just want to make sure they have the right zip code. And they're telling you that they're from a legal authority organization like the FBI or the IRS or a collection agency, posing as these authorities, and then you give this information, but there are hackers. So folks, the FBI states that we should be aware of these things, of these thieves, and how they are targeting people in all areas and using all kinds of tricks to get money, to get people to pay, especially if they ask you to pay for something using a payment card from Walmart or cryptocurrency. Folks, immediately hang up if you ever get this. In our investigation, we have this report I'd like to show you. Check out this clip we have from News4Jack.
A scam warning this morning from the FBI about thieves targeting people here in our area, trying to trick you into paying them money. Amanda Warford-Vidal, a spokesperson for the FBI's Jacksonville office, is joining us live via Zoom this morning to explain more about how this works. Good morning.
Good morning, Jen. Yeah, this is called the government impersonation scam. And we see this a lot of times during tax season, where scammers will pretend to represent the IRS, telling people that they have owed back taxes and that they need to pay that in order to stay out of trouble. But what we're seeing in this version of the scam is these scammers saying that they represent not only law enforcement, but the FBI in particular. And that's extremely concerning for us because a lot of people do not engage with the FBI on a daily basis, of course. And so when these victims receive these calls, they become very concerned. These scammers will, again, pose as FBI agents. They will tell their potential victims that charges have been filed against them and that they need to pay a fee or a court cost in order to get out of trouble. And of course, then they threaten to confiscate the victim's property, freeze their bank accounts, and even potentially arrest them if they do not make immediate payment. And that's very concerning to us.
You know, it's interesting because I just reported through the I-Team on a similar scam involving jury duty just this week, talking to two people who nearly fell for it. These are younger people. They're educated. They're not elderly. They're not the people that you think who might fall for something like this. That said, what many people don't realize is they've learned with their cell phones when they're getting a call, maybe not to answer a number that they don't recognize. But the reality is these scammers are very clever. They have high-tech, equipment that they use, and they do something called spoofing. Would you explain what that is?
Absolutely. Spoofing is when you can get a hold of technology that allows you to change what the phone number looks like on the other end. So a potential victim of a scam will look at their caller ID and it will look like the legitimate phone number of an agency. So for instance, in this scam, when the scammers are calling the victims, it says 248-7000. That's the actual FBI number. People answer that call, think that they're speaking to the FBI, but they actually are not because those criminals are using that technology. And you're right, they're targeting anyone out there who is basically a law-abiding citizen and is paying their taxes, does not want to get in trouble. So all ages, all demographics, no one is immune from this type of scam.
Would you explain the red flags? And let's point out that these are red flags that involve not just this scam, but all the others, because there's 3 or 4 things that always these perpetrators are doing.
Always, they're going to be aggressive. They're going to be very intimidating. So when you receive a call from us legitimately, we are not going to make demands or threats against you. But these criminals and these scammers are going to do that. They're also going to ask for your personal information. They're going to want your social security number. They're going to say that they're going to go back and check and make sure that what they're telling you is correct. But really, they're just trying to obtain that bank account information or your social. They're forcing you to make a quick decision. They do not want you to consult with your friends or family members before making payment to them. They're also going to ask you to make that payment via prepaid gift cards because they are very difficult to track. And also, of course, in all scams, look for misspellings and incorrect grammar if they're sending these threats via email to you. Certainly, that doesn't mean that something, because it doesn't have misspellings, that it isn't a scam, but it is something to certainly look out for.
Yeah, and I want to point out the jury, the duty scam where I talked to the two victims, in fact, last week. The people that were trying to perpetrate this, they spoke perfect English, no mispronunciations, nothing. So keep that in mind. Amanda, would you remind our viewers who are not familiar maybe with the way the FBI works and if the FBI wants to interview someone or talk to someone, how they work, what is legitimate and what is not?
Absolutely. So, and this is true for any law enforcement or federal agency. They're going to reach out to you in different ways, not usually via email or phone, but they're probably going to contact you first via mail. And then certainly we're going to give you an opportunity to check who we are. So if you do not believe that the person that's on the other end of the line, or you suspect that it might not be who they say they are, you can look up the agency's legitimate phone number, call them and say, hey, I got this call. Is this real? What do I need to do? Law enforcement agencies in particular are aware of this type of scam going around. And so they're never going to criticize you for at least calling to check with them to see if this is real or not.
And we do want to remind, if you wouldn't mind, Amanda, the importance of reporting this, because sometimes, you know, if you didn't fall for it, the reality is it happened. And by reporting it, it allows people like yourself to spread the word through the news media that this is going on so no one else falls for it. So how can they report it?
Absolutely. So the FBI has something called the Internet Crime Complaint Center. And so when you receive a call about this scam or any other, what we ask you to do is report it to our website, ic3.gov. And what that allows us to do at the FBI is track these scams as they move across the country. It's amazing to see how these scammers will actually just go area code to area code or zip code to zip code. And we can take that information and then be proactive for communities like we're doing today and let you know that these scams are happening and hopefully help people avoid becoming victim of these scams. So again, please report it to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. And if you have lost money, we suggest that you also file a report with your local law enforcement agency, as well as reach out to the Federal Trade Commission. They have some great resources on their website, identitytheft.gov, and that will help you take steps to protect yourself in the future.
It's so important to warn our viewers about these things that are circulating in our area. Thank you very much, Amanda, for your time this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jen.
Amazing information, folks. These scammers are trying all types of ways to get your personal identifiable information. But folks, if you're a listener to the show and you're one of our viewers, you definitely know better. If you get any of these phone calls from people telling you that they're from Amazon, that you have an order that you need to process, please let them log in and check your account to make sure the order has been corrected. Definitely a scam, folks. We get these calls all the time from viewers and from people that are saying that they've getting these types of scammers trying to get personal information from you. It's not true, folks. If you believe that you owe a particular debt, contact them directly yourselves from the information invoices you have had previously. If you need further information, definitely have legal representation to represent you if you believe that this is a scammer or a collective reporting agency that you need to verify it. Definitely have an attorney work with you on it, and contact my office and we can set that up and arrange that for you, having legal representation as well, folks. It's amazing what we have out there, folks, but we must stay vigilant and must stay alert. So definitely remember, folks, hashtag stay cyberwoke. Stay tuned for our next segment, folks. We'll be right back here at Cybersecurity Awareness TV after these messages. Hi, folks. I would like to welcome Ben Bowie from MyNiceTie.com as one of our newest sponsors for Cybersecurity Awareness TV. At MyNiceTie.com, they provide and are committed to providing classy neckties for the business community. At MyNiceTie.com, their motto is Wise Up, Suit Up, and Stand Up. You can find nice ties like the one I'm wearing now at MyNiceTies.com. Hello, welcome back to Cybersecurity Awareness TV. I'm your host, Matt Jackson Jr. Now, in this segment, folks, we talk about what you can do to protect yourselves from these types of cyber scams. Yes, things that we talked about in today's show have been very, very frightening for a lot of viewers, especially if you're one of the ones that have had one of those devices in your car that you weren't aware of, or on your person, and having your information stalked by stalkers, or you're getting phone calls come in by these types of scammers trying to get your personal identifiable information. And folks, it affects us all. And these scammers and criminals will work, folks, on a daily basis on how to find your information, trying to get you to be exploitable, or they can exploit data from you. But there's things that you could do. Now, common sense, as we all know, if it was common sense was so common, then we would have these issues, right? Well, sometimes hackers, they try to go around it. Starts with your password. We've always said that before. You have to, folks, must have a strong password. And again, folks, for 2022, cybersecurity researchers have shown that the major password that's being used by the majority of people is the word password, because we want something simple and easy to use to get access to our data online. Well, folks, we need to come up with different ways. And there are better ways, folks. Do not write your password down on a piece of paper and pin it to your desk. Come on. Really? Don't do that. Especially nowadays with smartphones and smart cameras, it will take your coworker less than a fraction of a second to walk past your cubicle and take a picture of your desk, and now they captured your password. Now they can enter your corporate database or corporate computer system as you. Come on, don't do that. And don't write it down on a notepad or put it on a spreadsheet. Those are bad too, folks. What you need is a password management system, folks. Password management system. And if you need to know information about that and what it is, go to my website at macjacksonjr.com to find out more about password management systems, or contact me and I'll talk to you about it and share with you about it. But I wanted to put it out there, letting you know you need to have a process and a procedure. And a password management system will give you that process procedure that you will need for your business. Secondly, make sure your smart device, folks, your smartphone, it is your computer. It is a computer, folks. The power of these smart devices, folks, that we have in our hands today are more powerful than the whole entire computer rooms that NASA had to launch the Apollo 13 space voyage, folks. We have a lot of power in our hands, and these devices can be used to take care of all kinds of things. Matter of fact, Radio Shack is out of business now because we can have all the things we can do with our smartphone that we had to buy at Radio Shack, including calculators and other processor units. It can all be done with our smartphones. So, folks, you need to have antivirus software. That's right, folks. Antivirus software on your smart device, and use VPN Wi-Fi. If you're in a hotel room or a coffee shop, make sure you have a VPN on your smart device. That's a virtual private network to give you extra layer of protection and making sure that hackers cannot see your device as they would see other people within that same setting, because you're sharing the same router as other people will share. Those are just some of the things, folks, that we suggest that you do. We talk about that every week, and we want to definitely get it through to everyone. And do us a favor. Information I just shared with you, folks, I challenge you to tell your friends and family what you've heard about on this show, Cybersecurity Awareness TV. And after you tell them they can visit us. Visit us on the Roku network. That's right, folks. Visit us on the Roku network at WWDBTV for all the episodes of Cybersecurity Awareness TV, how to protect yourself and your family from these hackers. Folks, that's all we have for this week. Again, if you want to reach me, you can go to my website at macjacksonjr.com. That's macjacksonjr.com, and find information about cybersecurity awareness. Find me on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're all over there, folks, all on the internet. Definitely contact me if you have any information on cybersecurity. But until then, stay cyber woke, folks. Hashtag stay cyber woke. See you next week. Take care.